That's right.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unusual Suspects. This is episode 83 again. This is the second time we're doing it, and I'm pretty sure you guys were asking questions. We had the last podcast we had was with David Icke.
Yeah.
And we let David just cook, and he overcooked.
He overcooked and we got burnt.
And we got burned. So for all you guys that know, and I'll let Humberto and everybody else have their comments. Listen, it's 2024. We're getting close to 2025, and there's still words that you can't come out of your mouth because there's certain powers that be, Big Pharma and all these people that they don't want you saying things because they still have to make their money. I think you guys know what we're talking about. It still boggles my mind to this day that happens. But if you guys want to see episode 83, the first one, you can go to Spotify for Unusual Suspects and check out that episode. I had an app last night. Episode. It's really, really good. It was informative. And yeah, Humberto, what did you have to say? You want to apologize?
Dubuki, I apologize to our Chinese audience and our YouTube overlords. We're very sorry and regretful. And do not watch the episode on Spotify or X. We might put it up there. Do not do it.
Yeah.
Terrible episode.
Yeah. It's a really, really horrible episode, but
it was a threat to democracy is what it was, and you guys should all be ashamed.
Robert, honestly, I might get up and leave the podcast right now because I feel so messed up. But anyway, guys, for you guys that are here with us today, we're happy that you guys are here. We have a lot of stories today. Connor's going to be talking about a lady who stabbed a 3-year-old, and the courts basically, they say she's crazy now, so she doesn't have to.
There is a crisis of accountability and competence in all regards in our judicial system.
Oh, weird. And then, Brandon, there was a potential chemical, biological, something happened at Trump's rally. Where was the rally?
Tucson, Arizona, and like most things we would have no idea about if it wasn't for X.
I mean, and by the way, doesn't surprise me that, and we still have 40-some days left. Mm-hmm. Who knows what the hell's going to keep? It's not done.
6:45.
What? 4:45?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, it's not done. Rob G is going to be talking about a New York pandemic doctor was caught on tape admitting to going to sex parties while you guys were all at home hiding and spraying each other with freaking disinfectant. This guy was in there getting sprayed in other places. But Humberto. One of my favorite stories, an 8-year-old girl from Ohio stole her parents' SUV and drove to Target.
She's a hero.
She's a hero.
She's a hero.
So we're going to get into
I'm
that.
calling fake news right now because women can't drive.
She's a prodigy.
Kelly's pissed off already in the back.
She can't drive, and she can drive well. I'm going to prove it to you.
Yeah. And then last, we're going to leave with a positive note about something happened in a zoo in China that I don't want to give away the surprise, but I'll tell you guys that after. And guys, for all you guys that have been there since day one, we love you more than you know. And for the new people, guys, if you just take one quick second and subscribe to the channel, we'd really, really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 100,000 ASAP, and it doesn't happen without you guys, and we appreciate you guys more than you know. You have no idea. Okay, that being said, I got blanks in here. Ooh. All right. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys been paying attention about the whole pager Mossad thing in Lebanon. You guys all obviously know about that. Mm-hmm. So for you guys at home, Israel's intelligence agency Mossad planted explosives inside pagers intended for Hezbollah fighters, which were triggered remotely across Lebanon with assistance from the Taiwan-based pager company Gold Apollo, which, by the way, they better be on high alert for terrorists coming after there. I'm just throwing that out there. Gold Apollo, Mossad placed 2 ounces of explosive material next to each pager's battery. The pagers were then imported into Lebanon and later handled by a Hungarian firm called BAC Consulting. Once the pages reached Hezbollah, they were distributed amongst its members. Can you imagine that moment? They're all like, everybody, look, I got brand new. It's brand new. Yeah, the other one had sand in it. Yeah, look. And then I love that you went to an Indian accent. I have a beeper.
Hey,
I have a beeper.
There's terrorists from all places.
There's terrorists everywhere. But
inclusive, very inclusive.
Like the Indian accent with the regular, what is Indian? And then what are you doing? Everybody wants, okay. Very close, but not there. So then, Hezbollah got all the pagers. And then at 3 p.m., an incoming message appearing to originate from the senior Hezbollah leadership was sent to the devices. So, everybody was like, hey, look, boss man, paging me. And then they blew up the message. The message activated the explosives, causing the pagers to detonate in Hezbollah strongholds in southern Lebanon, southern suburbs of Beirut, which is Dahiyeh, and the East Bekaa Valley. Kelly has a video. Guys, this is just apparently one of the Hezbollah terrorists or fighters, whatever the hell you want to call him. He's in a shop. I think he's looking at little baby limes, and this is where the pager happens. So, guys, if you're kind of squirmish about explosions and stuff, don't look. Hide your eyes, hide your ears. But, Kelly, can you please roll and show them what happened? So just chilling. Whoa.
Oh, boy.
Wow. And that's it. You see the little kids and stuff in the back walking away?
That packs a punch.
Oh. Yeah, he's, like, can you imagine? In your head, you're like, what the hell is going on? What blew up?
Yeah.
What is happening?
It's surprising that more people around them aren't getting injured from
Right.
shrapnel and stuff from
Rob,
those papers.
great question. Great question. I mean, the way that they set these up, some of this was more confined. I mean, but mind you, look, this isn't a public area. If that little kid, that little girl was right up on his, like if he was his daughter and shopping in front of him, that kid's going to get affected. And I understand people are going to be like, this is war. There's going to be casualties, and I get it. I mean, we're going to get into the tactics of this later, but the Lebanese health ministry reported that the explosions killed 20 people, injured 450, while the death toll rose from Tuesday's explosion rose to 12, including 2 children with 3,000 injured. I think one of them also went off at a funeral, which was loud. As like some of them might have had more in them.
Well, they rigged walkie-talkies
Oh.
that were set to go off at the funerals of all the people killed by the pagers. the next day.
Wow.
So this was a high-level, sophisticated op that really took a lot to pull off. Right now, we're still trying to get confirmation on whether any civilians were injured or not. It's a little unclear as to whether that happened. And my take on it was pulling this off in a sophisticated way is exactly the kind of thing the IDF and the Mossad could do. Accidentally killing a bunch of civilians and then lying about it is also the exact kind of thing the IDF and Mossad would do. So it's hard to verify some of these facts, but this took incredible planning.
Oh my God! And just the thought of it.
Yeah, it's actually very funny. My mom, who watches the show, texted me the other day as soon as she heard about the pager story, and she's like, they could set this whole thing up with shell companies and rigged explosives and hijack the Hamas distribution network, but they couldn't see October 7th coming. What's up with that?
That's a very, very good point.
Good question.
Yeah, very good question. So among the high-profile casualties in the recent Hezbollah pager explosion was Iran's ambassador to Lebanon, Mujtaba Amani, who was wounded. Key Hezbollah members and their family members were also targeted, including a 10-year-old daughter of a Hezbollah fighter who died in the Bekaa Valley. They crippled their operations. And, bro, the reason that they're using flip phones and pagers and stuff is because, the modern surveillance methods, apparently, Hezbollah leadership and everybody were like, hey, don't have iPhone. If you have that, they're watching you. Mossad's watching you. I mean, because obviously the technology is there to track and see where everybody's going. But now, listen, I like the tactic. Like you said, Connor, dude, great idea. I think it was a female who actually came up with the.
Really?
Yeah, it was a female. Yeah, really. But I mean,
the
dude,
girl's blowing up your phone.
Listen, and I'm all for. Listen, bringing terror to terrorists, I absolutely love because now, dude, they're mental. Bro, they're not gonna be checking pagers. They're not. How are you gonna? How are you gonna try to contact them? They're not gonna go back to iPhones because then you're tracked. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
It's having like a Mossad agent in your pocket.
Yeah, but there's the only
That's
two
what they
things.
said.
Yeah, retaliation and escalation. Because, bro, if you guys think terrorists, Rob, because I want to come to you after this, Rob, aren't going to get pissed off now and the response is coming, you're lying to yourself. And my thing is, like, who's to say this can't happen in the United States of America? Our border, let me explain something to you. The 20 million people that are in here and they're still, when's the last time people even talked? All they are is talking points right now. That shit is still wide open. People are still pouring in, bro. It's a wound that just keeps coming in. Who's to say? Because, by the way, our supply chain, our transportation is Pete Buttigieg. Okay? He's having babies with his husband, and he's taking place. All the problems that we've happened, who's to say that can't happen here? Why can't they, who's to say they can't hijack an iPhone or anything digital, anything with communications or whatever, and do in the United States, bro? That's something scary that I think people aren't really thinking about. What do you think, Rob?
You brought up a great point about the border. I'm trying to send Kelly this clip, but this came out yesterday. This is ex-Border Patrol chief. His name is Aaron Hetke.
Yeah.
He appeared in front of Congress yesterday during a House hearing where he claimed that there was significant moves by the Biden and Harris administration to have him cover up the amount of terrorists that were sneaking across the border into the United States. So this is a guy that worked for the Border Patrol. He was a Border Patrol chief, and he is coming out and saying that this administration allowed uncountless amounts of terrorists to come through the southern border, and then they covered it up. What government would do that in its right mind on the behalf of the people and the safety of its citizens?
I'll tell you exactly which government. A government that is, Rob, is just dying to get these votes and dying to ruin the fabric of the country so everybody relies on the government. They don't give a damn about. That's why I keep trying, and I'm going to come to you, Humberto. I'm trying to tell you guys at home, they don't give a damn. I'm using way less words than I want to because we're still in the 8 minutes and I can't cuss. They don't care. Okay, and I'm sorry, it is a side thing. The left doesn't care if you live or you die. Your daughter gets raped and murdered. They don't care because they want to control. They want to have that power. Kamala doesn't give two craps about any of you. And this guy, what's his name, Mr. Hetke? He's about to tell you guys exactly what the hell he was told. And I mean, shame on him for taking this freaking long to come forward. The moment they gave you these orders, you got to come forward and say something. Kelly, can you play this?
Well, this is the 11-hour footage.
So I could just tell you the three big takeaways from his testimony yesterday: that data was hidden on terror encounters at the borders, that the administration had paid $150,000 in flights to fly illegals to Texas, and that there were zero resources to track the fentanyl that was coming across the border. So if Kamala Harris, again, we go back to whether or not she was a border czar or not, clearly the border has been an issue. Right? Now we're actually having people that are government whistleblowers that are coming out and saying, I worked on the border, and this is a massive cover-up that the American people are not aware of.
Can I yes,
get
and?
in there.
Can I get in here?
Yeah.
Yes, and.
Yeah.
Okay, just so you're clear, 202 Democrats voted for illegal immigrants to be able to vote. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
They voted.
Yeah, they want them to vote.
They
That's
want
a
them to vote.
Because
okay?
you know why, Humberto? Because normal Americans, people that are awake and see what's happening, in their right mind, unless you're a brainwashed Bill Maher, George Clooney loser who are just like Trump's Hitler, vote. Why else? What would make a regular American? I'm trying to put myself, Brandon, out of the bubble, and I'm just a regular American Democrat, whatever. What in your right mind would make you vote for a Democrat? What policy? What are they doing for you except the identity politics? You know, the other side's racist. Donald Trump is racist. Donald Trump is Hitler. What? Explain to me.
No, the fact of the matter is, it's super concerning that just like the vast majority of people are very low IQ. I mean, I really underestimate how bad this is, but I still talk to people this day. There's a war going on. There's immigration crime going on. There's an inflation, double the price at the grocery stores, and we still see people making the case of, oh yeah, but Trump's so bad, he's Hitler. I mean, like, there's just the fact of the matter is, a good 70% of people repeat whatever they hear on TV.
Oh,
it's
Brandon,
crazy.
You're so wrong.
About 70%?
No. It's not a low IQ thing, Brandon. I know incredibly smart people. Like one of my family members.
What type of smart are you talking about, though?
Master's degrees.
But
on
that doesn't
Berkeley
mean
and everything.
anything, though. That's just a good
he
memory.
Still votes like an idiot.
Yeah,
you know?
but that school isn't a good measure for how smart you are. Not by a long
No,
shot.
he's been super successful. He's a millionaire.
Yeah, but the system's set up in a way that it doesn't reward the people who are actually the smartest. It rewards the most compliant people.
Yeah, and mind you, Rob, I'm going to come to you. Guys, don't get it twisted. The average American is dumb.
As fuck.
I'm sorry, guys. The viewers that are here, not us, obviously, not you guys, but the average person that's walking around, have you seen and talked to them? When they do Men in the Street, the majority of people are stupid. They asked a girl the other day on X, where's the Great Wall of China? And she was like, I don't know, Peru?
I
what?
disagree. They're just distracted.
No, but hold on.
And
distracted, but dumb as hell. And it's not. I don't think it's not a college education thing. It's information. It's getting out there. It's talking to people and just looking around, bro. When I go to the supermarket, okay, thank God's favor that I'm not freaking struggling as much as I was in LA. But bro, I check out. I have 5 things, and it's $45.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what? What the hell's happening? Everything's expensive. My gas. What were you gonna say?
No, the Putin price hikes.
Putin price hike. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I was shocked though. We went to lunch at your house.
Yeah.
And you bought 4 things for 3 guys.
How much
and it
was it?
It was like $310.
I bought
Publix.
I bought steak and stuff, but still, Rob, what are you gonna say?
You talk about the American public not being dumb.
No, I said they were.
They
dumb.
are, and you think that some
No,
are.
they're not. By
dumb.
average.
Yeah, but then you look at the photo came out. Remember the whole they're eating the cats or eating the dogs. That was just a week ago, right?
Yeah.
And then the defense of Remember the photo of the African American gentleman or the black gentleman? I don't know what country he's from, but there was a photo of a black gentleman carrying 2 geese. And they were saying the rumors on the internet were that guy was going to go eat the ducks, that the migrants in Springfield or wherever it was in Ohio, Dayton, I believe, are eating the ducks. Then they came out with the most bizarre explanation for why the guy was carrying the ducks, and the American public believed it. He was cleaning up roadkill. Well, when have you seen people just going around cleaning up roadkill? Unless it's hillbillies that are going to eat the roadkill, because there are hillbillies that will do that with deer. They'll do that with different types of things that they kill.
RFK will take a bear
By the
off
way,
the side of the road.
Yeah.
By the way, those geese are federally protected animals, so I think that's another reason we have to be considering why they're trying to cover it up so badly, because that's a federal crime.
Also, you ever interacted with a goose? Like anybody who can just walk in and pick up a goose?
Yeah.
Like
Savage.
Dangerous people.
Has anybody ever seen somebody, in all of your years of driving, everybody in this room, have you ever seen somebody just removing dead animals from the roadway?
They sweep them up with a truck.
So the one time that the entire American public is focused on one guy carrying dead carcasses of animals, they come out with the most ridiculous, asinine explanation ever. And guess what? Everybody's like, oh, okay.
Okay, and mind you,
right on.
And by the way, Trump didn't come up with that out of thin air. Okay, the people on the ground, and what was it in the Springfield, Ohio? They're the ones reporting it, and I love how Kamala's like, and those idiots, Dave Muir on ABC, going, well, the reports are that nobody. You mean the mainstream media? You guys, you suspect as lying people, because what people don't realize is we're talking about Haitians, not all. I love how everybody lumps everybody up. Haitians, that's some voodoo culture stuff, okay? Sacrificing animals and eating the animal, that's a part of the culture. Like these Venezuelan losers that come over here from the gangs, that's their culture, okay? I hate this lump up, it's because it's black people. Trump's not just going after lump sum all black people. It's like, bro, enough is enough of that BS, okay? Go to Haiti. Go to Haiti and talk to me about what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, Viva Frey called it before the debate. He said that the media was deliberately allowing the eating the dogs and cats story to get out there, waiting for Trump to mention it on stage, so then they could fact check him and then start the cover up to accuse him of saying, it's false, and you're pushing unverified reports.
I said it last show. We were the most affected by Haitian migration. Like, my country is 18 million people, and we had 200,000 on 18 million people. It looks like a lot more than a 300 million country.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've seen it with my own eyes how they cook pets. Like, I'm not going to lie here. And it's not all Haitians. There's some wonderful Haitians.
Of course. And even if they're good people and they eat cats and stuff, oh well. It's not like I'm condemning you. But to act like it doesn't happen, you're full of crap.
On the ducks and geese point, you can go to a restaurant and pay a lot of money to eat duck and goose because those are they're
wonderful.
They're delicacies. But the point is, there's a difference between going to a restaurant and ordering the duck and going into a public park and chopping the head off a duck next to the playground.
Yeah, we don't do that here.
Yeah, it's a very different cultural thing of having wildlife that just hangs out in your neighborhood that you're not using as a source of food is a very first world thing. It's a privilege of living in a place that's not constantly starving.
Here's the government
better
recipe,
than Haiti.
though. Since the end of World War II, the government recipe has been just to create chaos so they could make the government bigger and say that they're going to save it. But we haven't had a real threat outside the U.S. government since 1946.
Dude, that's why when you swear into the military, they say you're sworn an oath to protect this country from enemies, foreign and domestic. And I said it before, bro. The foreign, I'm not even worried about them. It's the domestic.
Yes.
The people that are in charge is who you have to worry about. Guys, I have to move on to the next story, but I love you guys to death. Next one. Connor, a lady that stabbed a 3-year-old, and you're saying that what? She said she's crazy? She's good?
So this is a story of all-around injustice and incompetence. Incompetence in every sense of the word. This happened just in June, a couple months ago. And yet so many people have already forgotten that it happened. A little boy, Julian Wood, and his mother, Julian was 3 years old. This is him here. They were coming out of a grocery store in North Olmsted, Ohio. And a woman named Bianca Ellis.
Not the nicest of areas.
Not the nicest of areas.
In Cleveland, North Olmsted, kind of a dump.
Yeah. This woman was next door, stole a knife from a thrift store, walked into the grocery store, spotted Margot and Julian headed out to the parking lot, followed them out, and in the span of 5 seconds, stabbed Julian to death and stabbed the mom a few times as well.
Jeez.
And horrific story. It was one of the worst I've ever heard.
That's evil.
Yeah, it is.
personified.
It's evil, and I'll get back to that point because I really want to touch on that.
Mike?
She stabbed the mother as the mother tried to get the kid out of the shopping cart. No motive was given, believed to be a random incident. This is the one Bianca Ellis, as she was read her charges, by the way. This was her reaction.
As she's reading.
This is her reaction in court, if we can roll that video.
Section 2903.11A1 and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did torture or cruelly abuse J.W. date of birth 10/29/2020, a child under 18 years of age, and furthermore, the violation resulted in serious physical harm to J.W. date of birth 10/29/2020.
So we can go ahead and cut it there. But
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Date of birth 10/20/2020. The kid was 3.
Oh my God,
insane.
Yeah, that really pissed
And
me
then our tax dollars are going to pay to keep this monster
Yes.
alive.
Oh, yeah.
Was this person charged with a
No,
hate crime?
she was not.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
If I stabbed a black kid to death,
You're
you know
done.
what one of the charges would be charged?
hate crime.
Hate crime.
Oh, big.
Yeah.
Well, you're done. Oh,
So-
Rob, you'd get the chair.
In addition to manslaughter and all the others, but they would definitely add that on.
Yeah.
There's this weird thing in America where it's okay for minorities to attack white people and not be charged with hate crimes, but then when white people point it out, they're racist.
Yeah.
You're a racist for pointing out race in this issue. It was a black woman murdering a white child, and there's no hate crime.
You know what it's called? It's called the Great Replacement Theory.
The kid?
Yeah,
Yeah, the kid's
the-
dead.
Dead. Oh, yeah,
The
Rob-
kid died. The mother was injured.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
Brandon,
That's
Brandon.
that's the Great Replacement Theory. So there's this subtle attack on white people since they're the biggest group in America, and it's like we could do nothing but wrong, and everybody else could do no wrong, and it's impossible for people to be racist against white people now. So it's like they're taking out what people have done in the past against us, even though white people today haven't done anything that people in the past have done, but they're taking out all the crimes of the past on us.
Yeah, can we throw this picture of Julian back up real quick?
Yeah,
Like, this is his last day of preschool. Look at the date on that photo. May 29th, 2024. He died June 3rd.
It breaks.
Oh.
This just days after.
It's demonic.
It's horrific. And Rob brings up the very, very impactful point about, the hate crime stuff, but that's not even the point I want to hit on. I talk about a lot of, racial dynamics and problems a lot, but to Vinny's point that he brought up earlier, this is about evil.
Yep.
This is about the fact that the world does not recognize that evil things happen and that there is a deep, abiding evil within people in our society today. And the justice system continually fails to recognize it.
Go.
She was standing there smiling, laughing, smirking at the camera.
Posing for the camera.
As she's being charged with murder, aggravated murder, attempted murder, felonious assault, endangering children, tampering with evidence, misdemeanor theft. And she already had like 3 or 4 active warrants out for her arrest at the time.
You guys
This was horrific.
So she's she's a threat to society.
Yes.
She's been in prison. She's been in trouble for all these things. She's still walking the streets, and then she does something like this, and then what?
Yes. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because just a few days ago, the judge in the case ruled her incompetent to stand trial.
Oh,
She was held for 20 days for an assessment, and it was determined that by reason of her various mental defects, she cannot stand trial. Rather than standing trial and going to prison and having her life swiftly and brutally ended the way it ought to be as punishment for a crime like this, she will spend an indeterminate amount of time getting medical assessments and treatments in the hopes of one day bringing her back to where she can stand trial again.
Unreal.
And this is kind of what I wanted to hit on, is that we have this excuse in our judicial system that if somebody is incompetent and that they're so out of their mind that they're not accountable for their actions, they can't be punished. When in fact, if somebody is so out of their minds that they're not accountable for their own actions, that's all the more reason to remove them from society forever. Because this woman, it wasn't premeditated. She didn't have some sort of grudge against the family where she decided she was going to go after them. It was a lunatic who got a hold of a knife and attacked a small child in the parking lot. If that is not a clear-cut case for sealing this person away for the rest of their lives, for the good of us, and no, we have to medically evaluate her for who cares about her good?
Yeah, I don't
do not care what good things happen to this woman for the rest of her life. I hope her life is ended swiftly and, dare I say, brutally because of that's justice.
Yeah,
go ahead,
Brandon.
Like law-abiding citizen style. You guys ever see that movie?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like that's what needs to happen to people like this, because that movie is a perfect example of how the justice system lets you down when something clear as day, brutally evil happens, and for whatever reason, some bullshit reason, the justice system lets you down, and people who deserve to suffer get off free.
Yeah, no,
that's such a good movie, by the way.
Yeah, it's the ultimate revenge movie. I wish that would happen to people like this.
This is political, okay? People on the left, they have another concept of justice that we do, okay? They don't believe in punishment. This needs to be punished with
brutally.
Brutally, with the whole intent of
torture.
The law. That's why we have judges. That's why we have policemen. This is why we have jails. Like, taking the life away of that little kid, like, it's the most evil thing you can ever do. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. And if she's able to do it again, she needs to be locked up forever, or capital punishment. But these people believe in rehabilitation. That's what they think.
The fact that she could be comfortable right now is a spit in the face of all of
and
us.
I think they're being responsible all around. I think it's not respectful for the media to record this woman.
I agree, because you're giving her that state.
And I see those images, and I see a little kid here, and it's hurtful.
Yeah.
It is hurtful to see her smile to the camera. Like if I was a cameraman, even if I get fired, I will turn off the camera.
Yeah.
Like, even if I get fired, because I don't want that image. Imagine the parents.
Oh.
Can you imagine the parents seeing her smile?
Yeah.
Like this society is sick. This is sick. Like, it has no name.
She gets a smile like that, and then she might spend years now in a hospital eating pudding and taking pills in the hope of one day make this actual criminal retard one day capable of being held accountable for her own actions.
Yep.
Yeah, that can't be tolerated.
That could never happen.
No, and mind you, and this goes to the point, Connor, and how many times have we said it on this very show? And Rob, I want to come to you if you want to say something in closing. That this society doesn't care about the children, from the sex trafficking to the assault to the molestation to the pedophiles. They don't care. These are the most overlooked beings that we have, our most precious things. And besides, by the way, because you know my attitude is, especially, I know me and you see the same. I don't know how everybody else does, but when it comes to, this is a whole different story. She deserves the chair. When it comes to pedophilia, I've already said this. You're destroying that child forever. You're killing them ultimately in their soul. Their soul is dead, so you are going to die. If I was in charge, bro, that'd be one of the first things I sign, is if you are caught molesting or raping or something with a child, you are going, and we're not waiting. You're not going to sit on one of those lists that takes you years. You're dying that month. We're going to set everything up, and you're going bye-bye. And listen, we're not supposed to judge, which is extremely, extremely hard. Like, even with Diddy this morning when I was getting ready, bro, in my head, something came over me where I'm like, wow, I'm actually supposed to pray for this dude. I'm supposed to pray and hope that this guy finds salvation, or he's going to burn in hell. That type of face. And the more I've seen pictures of Diddy, guys, he looks like there's a demon in there.
Sure
Have you guys been?
Same thing with Bianca Ellis. If you look at that, you look at her face.
Like the devil.
There is no humanity there.
No.
There is just evil incarnate behind the eyes of a person who would smile after taking the life of a child.
Yep.
And Humberto, like you said, our judicial system focuses on restorative justice and rehabilitation.
No.
The purpose of jail is not to make criminals better. It's to give the rest of us, normal law-abiding people, time away from criminals. It's like, oh, this guy needs to be locked up for 25 years, not for his own good, but for the good of all of us who get 25 years without having him around.
Yeah.
And there was a British politician centuries ago who said, we do not hang horse thieves because they stole horses, but we hang them so that horses might not be stolen.
Oh.
With the point being, the execution is not really even the punishment for this guy. It's just to stop anybody else from losing horses to thievery.
Yep.
That's the whole point. We don't execute people like this because of what they did. We do it as the thing that should stop other people from doing it again.
Yeah.
But when we go soft on them, when we say, okay, Bianca Ellis, you can spend
Years,
the rest of your life
rehabilitated,
getting medicated and watching cartoons.
Connor, and it works. It works. Yeah. I swear to God, it works. I grew up in Dubai, where they don't fuck around. The law is the law. They will cut your hands off.
Of course.
The law is the law.
Yep.
And nobody
dares to do it.
Yep. Like, I lost my wallet 100 times. I got it back 100 times.
All the time.
I used to go shopping. It's like 200 degrees outside. I will leave my keys on the ignition with the car on and the AC running. I will go for an hour and come back, and nobody will steal it.
Anybody
They
who tells you it cannot be done is not looking at El Salvador.
Yeah.
Nayib Bukele proved to the world that the solution to these problems, it's not easy, but it is simple. And it's you take the people who are responsible for these crimes and you get rid of them.
That's it.
And you lock them up. And the rest of us would benefit.
Vinny, they don't fucking care. Sorry.
No, it's all good. We're past 8 minutes.
They don't care. They don't care because they don't pay taxes and they don't vote. And that's a wrap. That's what it is.
Rob, you want to say something?
No, sorry, I made this a race issue. It's not. It's a human issue. And
well, they try to make it a race issue.
But it's just I went the wrong direction on this one. This is more about humanity and evil. And you're right. And I'm sorry that I hijacked in the beginning.
You didn't hijack it because I make plenty of these arguments, and you are correct. If Bianca Ellis was a white woman, regardless of what else she had going on mentally, who stabbed a black toddler to death in a parking lot, that would be cities would burn. People would stand. Politicians would denounce it. No one is speaking out for.
I'm sorry. This was on the news for less than a day. I saw it. We moved on.
If it wasn't for deranged conservatives like me and a few other people on Twitter who have continued to talk about the story, who would even know about it?
Yep.
You've never seen that smiling video?
No, I've never
on the news?
I've never seen it.
It's on. It's like Brandon's going to talk about in a little bit. If it wasn't for social media, if it wasn't for X specifically, these stories would be forgotten because there was a deliberate effort to make sure nobody knows about them.
Well, great.
So in memory of Julian Wood, whose life was taken by an actual demon, we do this, and we can't even necessarily say we know a solution, but just don't forget that there's evil.
Yep.
And if there's evil, there has to be something good fighting against it, and
that's us.
If we can contribute to that, that's what our goal is.
What you just said right there is why, as somebody who I don't know whether I'm agnostic or what is it, agnostic, atheist?
Agnostic. You're just kind of you're just not really.
Into it.
You're warming it.
I'm the more that I see this evil, as sad as it is that we live among these people, the more that I see that this evil has not taken over the entire world, it gives me hope that there is good. So as much as because I fought religion for a long time, I really have. I'm finally coming to a point in my life where I'm like, okay, there is evil, and in order for evil to not win, there has to be a counterbalance. What is that counterbalance? It's good. Where does that good come from? Is that a higher power? Is that humanity? I don't know, but that's where I'm at. But you perfectly encompassed with what you just said where I'm at in life. There is clearly evil in this world, and there's also good that's fighting it, and we just have to make sure that good beats evil.
Amen. Great story, Connor, and thanks, Rob. All right, Brandon.
Now I'm upset. I'm so upset.
More evil coming down the pipe, brother. A potential biological attack was at a Trump rally. A lot of people were complaining about stuff in their eyes. They couldn't breathe. They were choking and stuff. What's the scoop?
Yeah, so I'm baffled that this isn't front page news, but I mean, it came across my feed on X, retweeted by Alex Jones from some hole in the wall local news station. Yeah. We're gonna pull it up in a second here, but basically the essence of it is that Trump's giving a speech in Tucson, Arizona, and there's a group of people behind him on the left, group behind him on the right, about 40 people in each set of bleachers, and like a dozen of people had to go to the hospital after the rally, and they were nearly blinded. So,
really?
Yeah. Do we have the video ready to go?
Okay.
And it's baffling doctors.
This is Monica Garcia on Tucson News saying that. Okay.
What's up, Monica?
Former President Donald Trump that were allowed to sit behind his stage at his Tucson rally last week tell the News 4 Tucson investigators they left with mysterious injuries to their eyes. News 4 Tucson's chief investigator reporter Course Nylander is live outside the Tucson Music Hall downtown. Course, what are we learning about their situation?
Yeah, Monica, this is where thousands of people came out to hear former President Donald Trump speak last week. There was a group of 48 people allowed to sit on stage behind Trump throughout the event. They were split into two groups on each side of the stage. One side seemed to walk away without any issues, but multiple people seated near each other on the other side tell me that they had to go to the emergency room after they left the event. Here tonight, for the first time, the Trump campaign is confirming that they're investigating this situation.
no taxes on Social Security benefits for our seniors.
More than 2,000 people filled up the Tucson Music Hall Thursday to hear Donald Trump's first speech in Tucson this campaign as Election Day nears. Some of his biggest supporters were allowed to sit behind him on stage, supporters like Myra Rodriguez, a former director of Planned Parenthood with a notable shift to being pro-life. In 2016, she sat behind presidential candidate Hillary Clinton on stage at an event. Now she supports Donald Trump. She enjoyed the rally, but once she left, everything changed.
As soon as we left and I stepped outside, I started feeling like my eyes were burning.
At first, she thought it might be allergies. She lives near Phoenix. By the time she got home, it was so bad she decided to go to the emergency room.
The emergency room, staff keeps saying, from the triage nurse to the PA, and are you sure you don't get spray anything? Your symptoms look like you were sprayed something.
The News 4 Tucson investigators spoke to her the morning after the rally, Friday last week. That morning, she was nearly blind.
I can't see anything. When I try to open my eyes, it's like a white clot covered. It hurts. It hurts a lot to open my eyes. I have this cold cloth that I put on and I take off all the time, but this is horrible.
She says the doctors weren't able to determine what exactly caused it. Her initial thought of allergies went out the window when she heard from several others seated next to her at the rally that also ended up seeking medical attention with the same symptoms.
Kept getting worse and worse. My eyes started watering a lot. My nose started running. Then I started feeling my face get really flushed, and then my neck felt like it was on fire. And it just progressed from there.
This Tucson woman, who doesn't want to be identified, was seated in the same area behind Trump with her brother. Both walked away with eye injuries and sought medical attention.
I was all focused on my eyes. I mean, my eyes were red like hell, it's like, it's just like unbearable. You just couldn't, I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't handle it.
Whatever caused it seems to be isolated to the group seated on stage right. Former Congressional District 6 candidate Kathleen Wynne was seated on the opposite side of the stage and says she and everyone she knows.
Dude, that's pretty...
Now, are we open
what
to
the hell is this? The fact that nobody's talking about, I typed in people injured at Trump rally, 2 news sources are talking about it, and the fact that we have to go to X to do it, and where's Trump on this? Trump isn't talking about his own assassination attempts enough, and he's not speaking about this now?
I'm still baffled, Robert. I know you want to say, I'm still baffled at the fact that Donald Trump, the guy that likes to talk the most shit I've ever heard from any candidate, isn't going all in on multiple assassination attempts. And then I would just say, keep saying it. He said it at the debate with Kamala, but I'd be like, it's your guys' rhetoric. I was almost killed twice. Now I'm on stage. People are complaining about biological war. And by the way, it's not going to stop. This is going to keep happening. I don't know.
This is like CIA level warfare. This is like the shit that we hear about where they could point a laser at you and give you a heart attack. What happened to make people nearly blind?
She's almost blind. She said she can't see.
Yeah.
While you were talking, I just looked it up, and a bunch of media outlets have started talking about it now because there was so much demand for the media to acknowledge it. Doctors, if you trust what media outlets are reporting, are saying, could be some sort of bacteria coming out of the air duct over that seating section.
Not the other one.
Could be lights that were shining on the stage, and it had the effect on the cornea, like shining a laser pointer at it.
Or Donald Trump's cologne.
Well, I was gonna say, are we open to the possibility that Donald Trump ripped a wicked fart that wafted towards that section?
Or they put something on his clothing.
I tell you what's going to happen, okay? This is official statement. It hasn't come out yet, but this is going to be official. They're going to blame it on a faulty pepper spray can that a policeman had. I can put money on it, and that's what's going to be. Wait until tomorrow, the day after. And
it's going to be a cop's fault.
It's going to be a cop's fault. What?
I bet you everybody's just going to forget about it.
Well,
they're gonna say they're investigating it, and we're gonna stop talking about it.
Rob, what do you think?
Did Trump suffer any of the effects at
No.
the other? That was the one thing I was trying to figure out was, did Trump end up having the same symptoms as the people sitting behind him? Because if so, then it seems like something was directly targeted at that area. Even if he's not, how did the people that are behind him get hit by it and get whatever it is? Because remember they did the Havana syndrome?
Yes.
Where there were a bunch of diplomats that came back and said they were experiencing weird
Death,
headaches,
throwing up,
dizziness. Where they and they said that it was used by was it an EMP?
Yeah, it's a high
a frequency.
High energy weapon.
High energy weapon. Yeah. But that's not out of the possibilities. The things that they're doing. I didn't get to weigh in on your story, with the beeper thing. There's something called shaped charges. So the charge would explode in a certain direction.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen Claymore. You pointed one way and you're safe on the other way. And they maybe pointed this in that direction, but we're still not sure. We're waiting for the official.
And you
narrative.
made a great point. We don't know, Brandon. We're never gonna know the information. Dude, the stuff that I just found out about this second shooter, it's unbelievable that I'm watching footage. Let me explain something to you guys. The guy, he's the #1 most targeted individual, besides the Pope, nobody is more hated and hunted. I mean, obviously loved by us, but than Donald Trump. You mean to tell me for 12 hours this blue and white-haired psychotic bastard had a gun around the perimeter? And again, they say, but by the way, this is another Secret Service failure. And if something doesn't happen, I'm talking about fast, like meaning having overwatchers that are, bro, there's thousands of ex-military Navy SEAL, Special Forces, Marine, Air Force,
angry rednecks,
and that are. I mean, you do the background check, you do everything. Let at least 20 of them show up early to these things, bro. They have nothing else to do. To just, by the way, this is a perimeter issue. Like even and by the way, I'm telling you right now, I have a weird feeling that Trump's inner circle is compromised. I feel that there's somebody, Brandon, either be Secret Service or on his team, which at the end of the day, you can't trust everybody 100%.
Dude, Bongino went from saying don't jump to conspiracies from the first assassination attempt to like sound like a mainstream guy, and then this one he said no, 100%. There's definitely a mole within the Secret Service.
He said that there's a mole.
Yes,
I agree.
He's former Secret Service, and he's super mainstream. He said there's no way that somebody would have known that he was playing to golf that day at that time unless they had insider information.
Yeah, and Sean Hannity was supposed to go with them too, but Sean Hannity was like, no.
I think someone might be more targeted than Trump himself.
Ooh.
People who support him. You know, if you look at the last 3 attempts, and I'm going to limb here. On the last 3 attempts, we have this one, you know, that is allegedly still. Then we had a car with explosive that is also in the alleged state. Allegedly. The Trump supporters, they've been berated on the media. They lose jobs. They are tempted against. We saw last week that a guy got beat up for supporting Trump. I don't know where it was. You remember?
I've seen multiple videos with
multiple
guys. He had a hat. He had a Trump hat, and one guy was outside of his apartment, and the guy with a dog lost his mind.
And mind you, those people will never get Secret Service protection. Never.
Look at what Howard Stern just said. Where Howard Stern came out and said, I don't hate Donald Trump, but I hate the people who vote for him. It's completely shifted. It used to be we hate Donald Trump.
Maybe I'm onto
something. And the people who vote for him are misguided, and the basket of deplorables and everything. It's completely changed, at least according to Howard Stern, who is as a very vocal representative of a huge chunk of the left.
So cool.
He used to be great. And unfortunately, the guy lost his mind starting with COVID-19, and it's been a TDS downward spiral for Howard Stern.
Big time.
And I would love, like, he went out, like, could you imagine if we had the gall to get on here? He works for a company. He works for Sirius XM Satellite Radio, and he went out and told half of the voting public, I hate you, and I don't want you listening to my radio show. How do you think the people at Sirius XM feel about that? Imagine you came on here and you go, I hate women. And if you're a woman, I don't want you watching any of Valuetainment's products. You think that would
Could somebody clip that,
fly?
please?
You think I'd still be working at Valuetainment?
We can make exceptions. Norwegians, we don't care about you. Okay?
We had a few bad Norwegians.
But back to this, because you said assassination attempt on Trump. They haven't succeeded with that. But they did succeed on one of the Trump supporters. Remember the firefighter?
Corey Comprator.
Yeah.
That was the successful assassination of Corey Comprator.
Yeah, that's why I think Trump's laying us down, though, because what the hell is he doing? Where's his priorities at if he's not calling this shit out every day?
You know what's interesting? Oh, go ahead.
No, say you're interesting, then I'm going to go to Jake. Jake in the back wants to say something. Go ahead.
So it's interesting that just this week, the Secret Service advised Trump to stop doing outdoor rallies for the second time, and they made the shift from outdoor rallies to indoor rallies. So the first 2 assassination attempts were outside. Now he's moved to an indoor facility to host these rallies, and now there are people, as soon as he moves them indoors, there's now people suffering weird symptoms from being indoors at one of his rallies.
Yeah.
So you look at it, you go, what are the odds that the first time he moves everything indoors, and I'm not saying it's the first rally that he has done indoors.
You're just saying.
But it's the first week that they started doing them, and now people are all of a sudden coming up with mysterious...
Well, think about
Brandon and I were just talking to
6 ways from Sunday.
We were just talking to Frank the other day. Frank, who's a
Frank.
diehard fan of our show.
Frank the Tank.
Yeah. And
Beast.
And we were all discussing, and Brandon made the very valid point that he's made before, that the goal is to just get Trump to stop campaigning. Because the hide in a bunker and let other people campaign for you strategy, it worked great for Joe Biden in 2020. It's working great for Kamala Harris now. It would not work well for Trump at all.
Oh, I think he should do that.
What does Jake have to say? Jake
I think
in the
Trump
back.
should start.
So you're saying that they want him, mind you, they want him to stay in the basement, and because of shit like this, they want the supporters to be scared.
I want
It'll
him to
never
stay,
happen.
I want him to stay in the basement.
Why? You think that'll help?
Yes.
Well,
he's fine. He needs to stay in the basement and actually be like vocal about what's happening, because for whatever reason he's scared to talk about it.
Which to me is weird too. But I think Brandon, I only disagree because if he stays in the basement, then they're gonna say that he's weak. That he's weak.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm so weak. They tried to kill me 3 or 4 times.
They threw
sorry.
Molotov cocktails on the lawn of the White House, and they took him down to the presidential bunker during BLM, and they called him bunker bitch.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen, though? Then when the left cheats, which I almost am for certain they're doing, because, I mean, right now I'm seeing reports of people that are like, oh, we just found, like, 30,000 votes, but these people were not supposed to be able to vote. All that's starting to happen right now. Jake, what do you got to say? Jake's going to come in from the voice of God.
All right, so this is just updated 20 minutes ago.
Wow.
House of Representatives passes a bill to boost presidential campaign security to that of the level of the president following assassination attempts on Trump. 405-0 pass.
Oh, wow. So they're going. So they're okay. So they're going to give it to him. Well, okay, but that's a great. And Jake, thank you so much. And here's the point, guys. I still think they're going to try to do another assassination attempt. Guys, how many times do I have to say this? It's not over. You guys, okay, think about the scope. Think about the scope. From 2016 with Hillary with her bullshit with Russia to everything in between, the impeachments, the indictments, everything, the attempted murders twice. And we all know who's doing it. Let's not parse words or be on the tippy toe on the fence. We all know who the hell it is. They that are trying to kill him. They can't let him win. If he wins, it's retribution. It's accountability. It's not like the first time. It's not the first time where he didn't know who to appoint when he came in. That's why I hate the left's argument. Well, he appointed Christopher Wray and he appointed Mike Pompeo. Who the hell else was he going to pick? Who? Rob G and Humberto or his friends. You have to pick the swamp.
That's what I would do.
He came in and said he wanted to drain the swamp, but the same token, he had to pick people in his cabinet that were in the swamp. Now it's a different story, and I'm telling you guys, they know that he's going to hold people accountable, and that's why he is such a threat to these sons of bitches. And that's why, guys, we have to pray to God that this guy makes it to the election and then gets to the inauguration. What's up, Rob?
It's very interesting. You mentioned that the left or Democrats cheating for the election. And a very interesting report came out 3 days ago from USA Today, and it talked about who would accept the election results if their candidate lost. 46% of Republicans and 27% of Democrats say they wouldn't accept results if their respective candidates lost.
Yes.
Even more interesting, 14% of Republicans and 11% of Democrats said they would take actions to overturn the election results if their candidate lost. 14% of Republicans, 11% of Democrats.
Wow.
But they never talk about that 11%.
Yeah.
They take that 14% and they act like that 14% applies to Connor, to Brandon, to Jake, to you, to Humberto, to me. That it's crazy that they don't even address the 11% that are stating in a poll that they would try and overturn the election result. So this entire time, every time you hear about January 6th and we're attacking democracy and we're a threat to this country, look at the 11% of Democrats who say they would react the same exact way if 2024 plays out and Trump wins.
I think that's misleading too, by the way, because remember in 2020 when they were literally doing man on the street, CNN was, and they were saying to liberals, hey, what would you do if Trump wins? They're like, oh, it's revolution time. And they're like, oh, you hear that? Good old American spirit. They're going to revolution if Trump wins. Like they're cheering them on, but we're fucking domestic terrorists if we say that they might have miscounted the election.
Which they did.
There was just a poll that came out that said 1/3 of Democrats are disappointed that the assassins haven't killed Trump.
A third. And
this is not acceptable.
I need to find the exact.
But it's not acceptable, but it's a fact.
But we're a civilized country. Like I hate that this is happening right now.
I
hate it.
I agree with you, but guys, as much as this side says that they're the loving, peaceful, liberal,
joy.
Joy. It's bullshit. Because let's be honest, okay? Who are the top 5 biggest Trump haters? George Clooney. Who else?
Kimmel, Stern. Oh, are you talking politics or in general?
That dyke from The View.
Everybody from The View. Howard Stern, Bill Maher, all these guys, George Clooney. If Donald Trump, Rosie O'Donnell, if Donald Trump was shot and murdered, they would be freaking having parties and applauding and worshiping them, whoever the shooter was. So don't get it twisted, okay? And it's only one side that's doing it. Has anybody tried to kill Kamala or Biden or Barack? I'm talking about like in this fashion.
Stop.
If Barack Obama, guys, was shot right now in the ear by an like, it's all over. Oh, you think BLM was bad? Forget about it. Or Michelle or anybody on that side. And I hate how they bring up Paul Pelosi. It was
it was his boyfriend. They were all like weird sex parties.
Underwear they're like, he voted for Trump.
Vinnie,
Shut the hell up.
everyone will be rounded up. If you said Trump had a nice tie, you'd be rounded up and sent
straight to jail. Straight to
jail.
But it's unbelievable. Anyway, guys, we're going to move on to the next story. Good story, Brandon. Rob G, and we have to be touchy on this. New York pandemic doctor was caught on tape admitting to going to sex parties while we were all quarantined in our houses.
Yeah, so this is the guy, Dr. J. Varma. He was Mayor de Blasio's senior public health advisor during the pandemic. He was caught on film by Steven Crowder and a team with Crowder, where he admits that he went and did Molly. This is during the height of COVID, August of 2020. This guy went, as he's telling and advising de Blasio, to lock down New York City. And people are losing their jobs if they're not vaccinated. People are not at that point. People are locked down. People can't go to work. Isolation and depression are going through the roof. And this guy is telling everybody in New York City, he's advising policy that Mayor de Blasio is putting in place. He is the one telling everybody we have to flatten the curve. We have to social distance. We have to quarantine. We have to do lockdowns. Meanwhile, it comes out that while he's advocating for all of that to happen, this guy is having drug-fueled sex parties with multiple people, violating the own rules that he's setting forth in New York, and he's caught on tape. Here is Dr. J. Varma, this scumbag piece of shit. Look at this fucking piece of shit. When you guys talk about pieces of shit that should be in jail, and I apologize for language, this motherfucker, because people like me lost my jobs because of suckers like this that went out there and told everybody, hey, you need to be vaccinated, and we're going to get to the clips, if you're not vaccinated, you should lose your job. Meanwhile, this face is going and having party. Sorry, I'm sorry, because during COVID, I worked 25 years on the radio to get to the point where I was at in my career, where I had my own morning show. I was getting ready to be syndicated across the United States to the company that I was working for, and then I was told if I don't get the vaccine, I'm going to lose my job, and I lost my job. My wife, at the same time during the pandemic, decided not to get the vaccine, whatever vaccine you want to call it, in order to not lose her job. And now here we are, 4 years later, we're removed from this. We have both landed in better positions, but this scumbag's caught on camera admitting that he lied about the entire thing, that he forced mandatory vaccinations on people, and then has the balls to laugh about it. And when he's questioned about whether or not New Yorkers would be angry at him if they saw this tape, he'd go, yeah, they'd probably be upset. Then he smirks. So what I've learned in this life, there's some dangerous levels to things, right? Like, being sneaky is bad. What's even worse than being sneaky and bad, or what's even worse than being sneaky is being sneaky and stupid. Because when you're sneaky and stupid, you get caught. But what's even worse than that is sneaky and careless. Because sneaky and careless shows that you really don't give a shit if there's any repercussions for your actions.
Like a Diddy.
And this guy is sneaky and careless. Take a look. This is Dr. J. Varma. This is during the pandemic, where he's advising people on the protocols to take to help spread or to help flatten the curve.
Okay.
We enacted this mandate, and I use we because I was an advisor to the mayor during the time when this was happening, is because it's so important for adult New Yorkers to be vaccinated to preserve our healthcare system. Ugh. You know, this virus is not done with us. It continues to evolve and be a threat. The single biggest threat we have in New York is adult New Yorkers getting sick and basically overflowing our hospitals so that it jeopardizes everybody's health and safety. And the single best way to achieve that is to have high levels of vaccination in adults. So this private sector mandate did that. Now, the problem is, as soon as you start to make exemptions for one favored group versus another, and if those exemptions aren't based on the justification, which is that all adult New Yorkers need to be vaccinated, the courts can throw it out. They can say it's what's called arbitrary and capricious, and therefore, you know, you're picking and choosing winners. That's one concern. And the second concern is kind of the social or the moral concern, which is, you know, what type of message does it send to New Yorkers if, you know, rich people, powerful people, connected people basically get to make their own rules? You know, the principle of responding to an epidemic is the same thing as fighting a war. You're all in this together. Everybody has to sacrifice regardless of where you're standing.
You can cut it right there. Everybody has to sacrifice except for him.
Yes.
Because during this time in August, he admits to going, and we'll play the tapes. There's two clips. There's one where he's talking about forcing and making life for the unvaccinated uncomfortable. That way they can't travel, they can't work. Like this, when we sat here and we talked about these things 3 years ago, right? We're talking about how this is weird, how they're forcing these things, how they're offering cheeseburgers and French fries to combat a pandemic from a disease that mostly affects those with comorbidities, including obesity. So in order to try and help those people from not dying, we're going to offer them more fattening foods in addition to getting the fat. Like, so it's the logic was crazy, and we called it out. This guy comes out this year, and all of this tape that Steven Crowder captures shows that they were doing this on purpose. So when we're sitting here and saying, hey, this is by design, hey, they're trying to make the lives of people who aren't going through with this medical procedure more difficult, we were right, and he admits it. Here's some of the clips. This is what Steven Crowder and his team uncovered in recorded conversations, and I'm going to give you this guy's explanation for the conversations after these tapes. It'll blow your minds. Go ahead.
Actually was the one who convinced the mayor to make it a mandate.
Like, New York City found out that you're having sex parties during COVID?
Yeah, it would have been a big deal. Yeah, it would have been a real embarrassment. We went to some, like, underground, like, dance party, like, underneath the bank in Wall Street. And we were all rolling, we were all taking Molly, and everybody's high. And I was so happy, because I hadn't done that in, like, a year and a half, like, a year or whatever. And but I was looking around being like, I wonder if anybody sees anything differently. Because this was not COVID friendly. The only way I could do this job for the city was if I had some way to blow off steam every now and then. I'm kind of sneaky about it because hotels didn't want people gathering there. Because I was like running the entire COVID response of the city. My wife and I like had one with our friends, like in August of like that first summer. So we rented a hotel. It was fun. We all like took like, you know, Molly, and it was like 8 or 9 of us and then 8 to 10 of us in a room, and everybody had a blast because everybody was like so pent up because it had been like everybody was just like stuck together and stuff like that. And sometimes it isn't so much about like imagery, it's like sometimes it's just something about like bodies being close to each other, like just being like naked with friends.
Was that like when everything was locked down?
But it was like the summer of 2020, so like walk around the streets and you could eat outdoors.
Did you have like any mandates in place?
There wasn't any restrictions on gathering, like you could technically gather people. The hotels didn't want to start parties, but they weren't gonna like. It's so funny. It's like because I did all this like deviant like sexual stuff while I was like, you know, like on TV and all this stuff. And people are like, aren't you afraid? Aren't you embarrassed? And I was like, no, actually, I'm like really like I love being my authentic self. So the way we do it in public health is we make it very uncomfortable to be unvaccinated. I don't expect your education to change your behavior. I'm just gonna make it really hard for you to do your job. You can't get a job. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't go to school. It's like, I'm just gonna get vaccinated.
So was it technically like kind of forcing you?
Yeah, that's what you force people by making it really uncomfortable.
Dude
doesn't even give a shit.
Oh my God! Well, I mean, Bob doesn't know he's being recorded, but that's the real him, and that's the evil that you were talking about earlier, and that's manifested in that disgusting doctor. Mind you, guys, that is a doctor, a professional that can care less if you got that thing in you and you died because he was out there banging with his wife with 9 to 10 people because you want bodies next to you.
Yeah, not for nothing, but imagine you go to like some big elitist secret underground New York sex party and you turn around, it's like it's the friggin' Pajit from the news who's there like, oh yeah, you want to get it on with me and my wife. It's like, no,
disgusting.
thank you.
They're all
I don't want you giving me a jab of any kind.
You know what, Rob? You talked about being an atheist or being agnostic and walking towards something bigger, evil, and good. And this is a prime example because I won't get into medical misinformation. Just I'm attacking the policy and the people. Okay, that's those motherfuckers. They killed my grandfather. Okay, that's how mad I am. But when you know that God or a higher power is watching you at all times, not the media is watching you, not the city of New York is watching you, you act accordingly. You know, you act accordingly.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm being a piece of shit in my own house or inside my car or anywhere else because I know he's omnipresent and whatever I do, it follows a code every single time. and I have to live with myself, and I have to live with a higher being. But when the state got separated from religion, when we separated state and church, we created the societies that they have no moral backbone. So these things happen. These people are generated. Like I just wish his kids watch this afterwards.
They have to.
See.
They have to. If
But-
they're old enough.
But I'm telling you, like, once you separate the two things and you don't have a strong moral code, pieces of shit like this guy will start popping up.
And I apologize if we can edit some of the language that I put out. I plan on running for Congress one day, and I definitely don't want me yelling that guy's a sea sucker to be in there. That being said, to your point, it's not just your grandfather who and I'm sorry for your loss. Anybody who's lost someone during the pandemic or in the years
Because
after.
of the policies.
What really bothers me is about the mental health effects that this had on people. This is a CDC report from June of 2020 found that 40% of adults in the United States reported struggling with mental health or substance use during the pandemic, specifically related to isolation efforts. So imagine the amount of people that were trying to, like people that are in recovery and trying not to drink, and then you're locked in your home and you're kept away from people. You can't go to AA meetings. You can't go to church. You can't be around your people because you're being told by public health officials that you need to spread out, social distance, isolate, quarantine, lock down to help the public. And you do that, and then this guy's out throwing raves. The other thing I want to give you is just his explanation. We'll close with this. This is his explanation. Dr. Jay Varma released the following statement after these videos came out just yesterday. Unfortunately, I was targeted by an operative for an extremist right-wing organization determined to malign public health officials and take down the public health system in America. This individual has been highly discredited, and he has been banned from numerous media outlets for his homophobic slurs and racist rants, referring to Steven Crowder. Then he goes on. In those private conversations that were secretly recorded, spliced, diced, and taken out of context, I referred to events that transpired 4 years ago. I served in City Hall between April of 2020 and May of 2021. During that time, I participated in 2 private gatherings. I take responsibility for not using the best judgment at that time. So how are you being targeted by an extremist right-wing organization determined to malign public health officials if you yourself, in the same statement, you say, yeah, I was doing it. You're not being targeted. You've been caught.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah. And here's my question, Rob. Is there any, and here's the thing, and this is what drives me through the roof, because who's the guy that does the other undercovers?
James O'Keefe.
James O'Keefe, who's a really, I can't believe my brain just had a fart, and you already know all the work that he's done going back to freaking Acorn with Andrew Breitbart.
Amazing guy. Great dancer.
That guy, that's real reporting. What they just did, what James O'Keefe does, is actual reporting. I've seen so many videos of these people admitting it, and nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. If that guy right there doesn't get in trouble, either he loses his license or something has to happen to this guy, then there's no justice.
Well, Rob, this whole thing is gaslighting to the highest magnitude, though, because, during COVID, they say, oh, if you don't get it, you're going to kill grandparents. But, like, in reality, how many have died because of getting it? And then, to say that he's an extremist reporter.
Allegedly.
What extremist, well, I didn't say the word, but, what extremist stuff has that side said when their side was the one acting like dictators during the thing?
Well, you go back to, why does everybody want Trump dead? Why? Because what if Trump gets elected and he starts this? He starts the investigations and brings these people to trial. There is a huge amount of people within our government that doesn't want Trump to be reelected because of things like this. When illegal policies that they put forth, being caught. I mean, the idea that this guy still has a medical license, like you said, and can still operate in the world of medicine, and then we're the bad guys for not trusting the science. Well, now you know why we didn't trust the science, because they put dirtballs like this in charge of it.
Yep.
And Rob, you just talked about the isolation, the hurt and mental anguish people experienced during COVID and everything. In that video, he said, I was just feeling, lonely and pent up, and this guy decides the best way to let that off is to go be naked around 8 to 10 strangers. When I was feeling lonely and isolated, what I wanted to go do was spend time with my fiance and go to church. But we weren't allowed to do that. Yeah. We weren't allowed to go out to coffee shops. We weren't allowed to meet in our building because my church rents space in an elementary school. We use their cafeteria. For 2 straight years, we had to go to the Boca Black Box Theater every Sunday. Rob, You've performed at the Boca Black Box Theater. You know that it's not the most conducive venue for a church gathering.
To be honest, it's not really that conducive for comedy.
Exactly. Like it is a very small. It's been around for a long time, but it's not great for gigantic gatherings, especially for something like a church service. We spent 2 years there, and we had half our congregation too afraid to come to church because every day they turn the news on and was like, well, if you go, it's going to kill you. You can go out to that BLM protest, but don't go to church. You'll get sick there. And this guy's walking around with, just fully naked, being intimate with as many people as he can find.
Because he needed a body next to him and his wife.
Sometimes there's just something special about, it's just having bodies together.
Yeah.
What you're describing is community and friendship and intimate connection with people.
Yep.
You denied us that, Dr. Varma.
And guess what? If I had to bet money, and it'd be I'm pretty sure this bet would go by, he wasn't just messing around with the girls.
No.
That type of dude with that schnoz, he was definitely putting that in somebody's butt. But anyway.
He got a lot of jabs during COVID.
Anyway.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
To hell with that guy. All right, allegedly. All right, Humberto, and I want to get through this because I have to end with something. Because we want to end with something fun.
Yeah.
Because there's so much negativity and anger and poison and doctors like that. Humberto, there's an 8-year-old girl from Ohio that stole her parents' car and went to Target.
All right, this might sound tragic. But this little girl, she's a hero. Yeah. And I wish America had this level of planning and resolve to get things done. All right? We're going to go to the first video so you guys can get, like a gist. You can get a gist of what happened.
And wait, what are we looking at right now? This is...
We're looking now at a news report.
Okay. This is footage?
Yeah.
Play-by-play?
No. This one, yeah. We're looking at a news report of what happened.
Okay, so this is like late breaking.
Yeah, late breaking.
Oh, okay.
This was the day off.
All right, I want to hear this. Go ahead.
An 8-year-old girl had places to be, and she took it upon herself to get there. This morning, she drove herself to Target. According to police, the girl lives in Bedford and drove to a Target in Bainbridge Township. News 5's Maya Lockett has more on what happened.
What started off as a missing child report soon turned into a busy day for an 8-year-old at this Target in Aurora.
He did advise the driver appeared to be small in the stature, and she should be in that vehicle driving.
The driver was an 8-year-old girl who was originally reported missing along with the family's vehicle, a 2020 Nissan Rogue. In a press release from Bedford Police, family last saw the child around 7 a.m. A next-door neighbor provided the family and officers with Ring camera footage that showed the child got into the SUV and drove off around 7 a.m. alone.
Bainbridge located the vehicle so far, but not the child.
Officers learned through dispatch that Bainbridge PD had located the vehicle in the Target parking lot in their city.
Bainbridge does have the female juvenile.
Moments later, officers were able to locate the 8-year-old inside of the Target. On a Facebook post from Bedford Police, they said they did let her finish her Frappuccino. The girl admitted during her drive she struck a mailbox. Target employees told News 5 the child walked in with more than $400 and proceeded to walk around the store shopping for items and checking out. Now, police did make Target employees give the money that was spent inside the Target.
All right, so we get it. Like, there's so many questions here. Like, first of all, like, I don't know, like, all the stories with children that we usually cover, they end horribly. Yeah. The kid wasn't harmed. She had her Frappuccino, and the police was cool enough to let her finish her Frappuccino.
How did she pay? I mean, they were nice enough. I love how Target trying to promote, hey, listen, there's a 5% discount on that. But boy, did they find out what made her just say, hey, I'm going to take the car, I'm going to go to Target, I got to get a frap.
She had errands to run, man.
I know.
You ever tried to come between a woman and Target? It does not work.
That's the other incredibly decent thing that happened. What? We don't know the identity of the child, which is really good. And the parents haven't come out to make statements or get famous out of it. Because it's still like, I mean, whoever is a parent here, like, it's not a cool thing for your 8-year-old.
No, she's going to kill somebody.
You know, like, I started joyriding and statute of limitations is over. Like, I started joyriding at like 10, 11. Right. That I would just grab the car and go around the block. Yeah. But then I'm a criminal at heart.
Yeah.
But this is because we don't have any more information, but this is a dash cam of some other car
Oh, there's another guy watching her?
Watching her drive.
Oh, God. Okay, Kelly, can we play this? She's going to look.
The situation could have turned out much worse. Newly released video shows the SUV driven by an 8-year-old.
She's
girl
doing good.
Keep it her lane.
Target in
Look,
Ohio.
Kelly,
driver recaptured the video
swerve.
in Bedford on Sunday morning.
Bro,
said he
she's
spotted
8. How
the
tall is
SUV
she? She's a small-
swerving. Noticed the driver seemed small and called 911.
Dude,
Around the
okay,
same
yeah.
time, the family reported
Bro, I used
the
to
girl
drive
in
like
the
that when I
SUV.
used to
Okay, I'm less sympathetic.
They found
Yeah.
the 8-year-old safe in the Target store about 25 minutes from her house.
25 minutes she was doing
Vinny,
this.
Vinny. She drove 11 miles. Like, I dare anyone here, everyone here, I dare you to go anywhere 11 miles away without turning your GPS. Like, 11
Kelly, 11
miles.
miles with no GPS, and she knew how to get there. By the way, 8.
You wouldn't have made it.
Haitian migrants came and drive.
Yeah,
up.
Oh,
he's
man,
on
you killed my
rogue.
joke. Yeah.
Good job, Jake.
I know.
The
Good
rogue.
job, Jake. So this little girl, no GPS. I can imagine her in the back of the car with a little notepad just writing right turn, left turn, left turn,
Like
right turn.
MapQuest? Like MapQuest back in the day. Like, okay.
I know.
That might be
Burger
why she's
King, right.
swerving. I remember back before everybody had GPS on their phone when like Dad had to MapQuest.
Oh, I
when we were
love
going
that.
on vacation. They're trying to look at the map and drive the car at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's got to be
my
hard.
ass because you're like this driving.
So since he's the only current parent here, soon to be father. What do you think, Rob?
Oh, I'd beat the shit out of him. Completely honest with you, I would. It's crazy because I lived in that area. A guy lived in Cleveland for 5 years.
No kidding.
And those roads between Solon and Brainbridge, they go through like wildlife preserves and stuff. I know what we just saw were residential streets, but like there's a good chunk of that drive that are twisting, winding roads through like mountains or hillsides. I'm surprised that this didn't end up worse. Either her hitting a car in oncoming traffic or her losing control of the vehicle and running off the road. Because, like, driving up there as I was 22, 23 when I lived up there.
Challenging.
But it was because you take your eyes off that road for a second. There's quick turns up in those hills.
She just hit one mailbox on the way there.
One mailbox is
One
flush. That's
mailbox.
nothing.
Yeah.
Bro, if I was her father, like, imagine, like, I don't care how angry you were. Like, you're angry and you're like, what the F? But I'm pretty sure at one point he was like, come here. He's like, listen, good on you. And let me explain something. Danica Patrick was in NASCAR.
Yeah.
If she's driving like that at 8 years old,
I know.
you better put her into like go-karting or something and be like, dude that could be a great Target commercial.
I know.
Well, once you've beat the crap out of her, as that kind of thing justifies as a parent, then you turn it into a learning moment of, okay, let's try to redirect. Obviously, you're driven and like you set your eyes on goals. You wanted to go to Target.
You're driven, no pun intended.
But before we close, I want to hear Kelly's take on this. What do you think?
Kelly, what are you thinking about this? Do you hit her? Do you spank her? Is she ever going to
Is she a
Target?
girl
And by
boss?
the way, what kind of person who drinks a Frappuccino? By the way, she's acting like her mom and her dad. There's no other way you go there to buy.
Punish her by forcing her to shop at Walmart.
Kelly,
I just want to say the future looks bright.
Let's get this
For
girl
her
some
first
gear.
topic.
Let's get some gear.
I want to find. We can't find out who she is. They're not holding her.
It's
But
good. It's good that we can't find her.
We can't find her, but you know what? If there's a will, there's a way. We're gonna send her some Future Looks Bright, some NASCAR.
Parents, contact us. Email us.
Yeah,
We'll send
if
you
you're
some
the
gear.
parent, please, we want to talk to her. I think this is
We'll have a
hilarious.
free hat for her, but she will have to drive down to Florida to pick it up.
Yeah. All right, guys. All right, great story, Humberto. And guys, we're gonna end with something. Rob, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but that was positive. I want to end on even a funner, more interesting story. In China, did you guys hear about the Shanwei Zoo? They found itself at the center of controversy when visitors realized that the pandas on display were actually Chow Chow dogs painted to resemble pandas. The issue came to light when the animals, which had been dyed black and white, began panting and barking, something that real pandas obviously don't do. Initially, the zoo tried to pass them off as rare breed of called panda dogs, but later admitted the deception after public backlash. Guys, just look at this video. Who in their right mind can get fooled by these panda dogs? Go ahead, Cal. Dude, look. That's not a panda.
What the? How stupid
has
is
a
it?
tail. It's fun walking on. It's a Chow Chow. Like, what are you, crazy?
I mean,
that's why I call China a paper.
Me.
That's why I call China a paper tiger. I think everything there is fake, whether it's their great architecture or their big military. If they're gonna fake pandas, they're definitely faking the important stuff.
I agree.
Like they're the only place that has pandas. If they can't figure it out,
then we're screwed.
Everything's fake.
Yeah, so they they dyed them to mimic the black and white markings. The truth quickly spread after videos taken. Bro, why did the truth come out with videos? Like, just look. Whoever was that to do? Like, if you're Chinese and you're there, I'd be like,
maybe this wasn't a malicious. Maybe this was China was worried about Haitian migrants eating dogs, so they disguise the dogs as pandas so they won't get eaten.
So I'm going to make a bit of a
eat dogs too. I'm sorry.
Bit of a controversial statement here.
Yeah.
I'm okay with an enclosure full of dogs because that'd be fun to see, but I don't mind this because I don't like pandas.
Why?
Pandas are a useless animal that only exist because we think they're cute. Like, if you look at pandas, they will be so fixated on food that they refuse to reproduce.
Yeah,
they refuse to have sex.
Yeah. That's like every night for me. Steak and spaghetti, or my wife.
It is a bear that doesn't engage in any bear behaviors. They just sit around and eat bamboo. The only reason they have not gone extinct is because humans think they're so cute we refuse to allow it.
That's so
There are actually useful animals that are going extinct on a day-by-day basis, and it's a tragedy. Meanwhile, all of our conservation efforts are going to these useless fat bears that refuse to even eat meat. So, like, they're not a good animal.
And by the way, just to throw this out there, I know Connor was adamant against them. This isn't the first time a Chinese zoo has been caught, and a similar incident occurred at the Taizu Zoo, where chow chows are also passed off as pandas. Guys, this zoo, what's the name? I'm sorry, real quick, hold on, guys. The Shan Wei Zoo, guys, they didn't just stop there. Kelly, show their lion exhibit. Bob, that's their lion exhibit. And I mean, dude, it's quite obvious. And then, guys, Kelly, hold on one second. Guys, their giraffe exhibit. This is the most embarrassing thing. Kelly, show the giraffe. They actually have a Chinese dude in there. I don't know if that's a pajama.
That's Yao Ming.
That's Yao Ming. Just in there, guys.
Imagine walking around these enclosures, like you see this dude. No, I'm an elephant.
Oh my
That's on the
God.
line. That's on the line.
Yeah, that's it. But guys,
So fake suits and fake laughs.
Fake suit, fake laughs. I mean, I want to end it with something funny, but like, dude, if I was there, by the way, I would be so. If I paid money to come see a damn panda and I saw a child, because you know your kid, Rob, is scarred forever.
Well, and think about that. You're paying for that, so now you're paying for you, the kids, your wife, parking, lunch, and what you're getting fake dogs.
Yeah.
You're getting fake bears,
which is ridiculous. But yeah. All right, guys, great episode, guys. What a great one. I love Rob's fire. It makes Rob. We're not bleeping out anything because we are past 8 minutes.
It's a rape bleep.
shots at
It's a rape bleep.
No, you still got it, Rob.
Yeah, we have someone in the back.
Oh, we have
It's a
somebody
real
bleeping
show.
it. Oh, then we're good.
We
We're
have
on point.
production people. They know things.
I would have said don't bleep it, but whatever.
We're bleeping it live.
But for everybody out there that watched, guys, thank you so much for tuning. Again, if you wanted to watch episode 83 with David Icke, you have to go to Spotify because people don't like certain words that we use. I
Or
can't believe
people.
it in this day and age. But guys, have a fantastic weekend. Be safe out there. Take care of each other. Love each other. And I love the conversation with God. I don't push anything on anybody, but from Rob's story to spirituality to my brother told me a story yesterday where they're on vacation in Hawaii, and by the way, he's not really religious at all, but he had one of those moments where he's like, Vinny, I got goosebumps. He got emotional. He's like, I felt it, and I felt God's presence, and I was on my way to dinner with Pat yesterday, and I got emotional because for your brother to not be there, to start getting closer to this thing, because guys, and I'm not believers, Kelly's not a believer, Connor's not a believer, Humberto's not a believer because, or Brandon, we're not believing because I need insurance, because if I die, well, okay, at least I prayed. No, there's something deeper. It's something more profound. And dude, the Bible, just all these people wrote, from Jews to everybody wrote that this guy was around and did these miracles. And I think, I live by proof. Everything in my life, everything is more positive and working from my sobriety to my spirituality to my friendships to my personal journey is because of God and Jesus Christ. And that's coming from me. Okay, and I love you guys to death. So the closer you guys can get to God, I think it's good. Take care of each other. God bless you guys, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace and love.
Peace.